So some of the names you interviewed, Nelson Mandela, God, you had O.J. Simpson, as you brought up. And what people maybe forget is that you were one of the first journalists. I don't know who might have been before you, but I'll just say you were among the first journalists to have a sit down with R. Kelly. And this is when he initially there were charged. It was after the tape, correct?
Yeah, it was his first television interview after the tape had surfaced.
Right.
You know, people had heard about it, hadn't seen it, then people saw it, and we got him to sit down. And there is another one of those things where you've got a beloved black figure who if you ask certain questions, may not come out in the best light. And I always say, and then you've got their handlers who want to tell you what you can and cannot ask. And my whole career has been shaped around, as most good journalists will do. No, I'm not going to agree not to ask. Your client cannot answer the question, but I'm going to ask it. But yeah, that was one of those that, gained us a lot of attention. And it was maybe that first real crack in, the R. Kelly model. What was funny to me was when that came out, people was like, we going to boycott and he ain't right. And then Chocolate Factory dropped.
They were like,
People
hold
was like,
on.
oh, wait,
no,
not the
not
whole
yet.
album, right?
Well, to your point about not being afraid to ask these tough questions, especially on a sensitive subject matter as this one, here's a clip from you asking R. Kelly about Aaliyah in particular. Now, Ed, as you were doing that interview, well, one, how did you get it? Like, what made R. Kelly? Because I will say this, like, getting back real quickly to we were talking about Gayle King, and people were bringing up, well, she went after R. Kelly, but she didn't go after Harvey Weinstein. I'm like, first of all, nobody told R. Kelly's dumb ass to do that interview. Nobody did. All right, you have to agree to do it. She has interviewed Harvey Weinstein's lawyer and one of his accusers. That was already done, but R. Kelly has made himself available,
Right.
So it is
and
what
you
it
better
is.
believe if she could have sat down with Harvey Weinstein, she would have.
Everybody and their mama trying to get that interview. Like, that is, his lawyer is just smart enough that he's not sitting down with anybody. So anyway, I again, as I asked you, how did you wind up getting this?
So, it was a time where everybody was going after R. Kelly. And I think that there are a couple of people in the industry that kind of make a name for themselves that if you want to talk to somebody, here are the 10 people you want to go to. And at that time, BET had a greater position than they have now because white folk didn't care about black people in the news back then. See, now, TMZ would have it or Extra would have it or he'd go on, a white show. Back then, they didn't care about R. Kelly. So it wasn't important. And so when the tape broke, his people realized we got to talk to somebody. And I'm sure he probably had talked to some disc jockeys and some other things, but I think they wanted somebody who they felt would give some credibility to the interview and some weight to it. And to her credit, my who's still with me today, my booker, Carol Johnson Green, never gave up on trying to get R. Kelly. I kept saying, he ain't talking, forget him, he ain't talking. And she just kept going and kept going and kept going. And one day she literally burst into my office. I thought somebody had died, literally. I was like, she was screaming and yelling, we got it, we got it, we got it. And we got it. And so we flew out and sat down with him. And it was amazing to me because, the denial was there. He kept telling me he didn't look at the tape. And I said, well, why wouldn't you look at the tape? And he said, well, if I know I didn't do it, why would I look at the tape? And I said, dude, if somebody looked that much like me, I would absolutely want to see what they look like. And, when we were done, again, when that red light goes off, he kept saying to me, you believe me, Ed, don't you? You believe me, you believe me. And I said, dude, it's not for me to believe you or not believe you. I said, I will tell you this. I might have said this on the air. I said, if that were my daughter, I'd be looking for you. That's how much it looks like you.
Because his original claim was that was his brother. Yeah. He tried to get his brother to take the rap for him, and
But we are culpable in that too.
Oh,
right?
No question.
Because black people had heard the whispers about R. Kelly.
The Aaliyah thing was like, we acted like that didn't even happen.
Let's just assume that he really loved Aaliyah And, back in the day, people were marrying 16-year-olds and all. And I don't mean that day, but back in the day,
Right.
further back than that. But I will say this. Let's give him that anomaly. Let's just say that was the one. And whatever special connection they had, as weird as it might seem, let's give him that one. It's the rest of them that caused real problems that we knew, okay, we can't just give him Aaliyah if we're hearing about this one, this one, this one, and this one. And so at some level, though, because of his genius, we were able to look away. It's the same thing, God rest his soul, with Michael Jackson, right? Another person that I did a story on. We were never able to sit down with him per se, but Johnny Cochran was a mentor of mine, and he wanted me to do a story when he was representing Michael from their perspective of what a day at Neverland was, right? So I flew out to the ranch and walked around with Michael and the kids. But again, let that Michael Jackson be the postman Michael Jackson, not the superstar. We'd have run that dude out on a rail. You having sleepovers with 11 and 12 and 13-year-olds? No, that ain't happening in my neighborhood. But Michael Jackson, it's a whole nother thing. So society has some culpability in all of this too.
Well, I mean, considering as much as people have tried to make R. Kelly into the victim, to your point, do you realize that there ain't a black man out there that could be victimizing women for 30 years, and nobody say a word and get away with it, or everybody's just like, just something that happened. Like that, he got away with that a long time. Same thing with Bill Cosby. This is a long time. So that's what happened when you not just have talent, but you have the money to defend what you do, and you provide something. It's a lot of people out there still, they not giving up Step in the Name of Love. It just ain't happening.
Listen,
and that's on you,
And I will play his music in my house. I won't buy it anymore.
Right.
I will not go to another concert.
Right.
But I'm not going. If you said to me, because I had this argument with a friend of mine, you can't listen to R. Kelly no more. So I said, okay, well, let's go turn off every freak out there that you can't buy a record, watch a TV show, watch a movie. See how many people you come up with.
Well, we wouldn't be watching or listening to a lot. But R. Kelly's, because now it's like so ingrained that he is a monster. Like, I can't even do it, man. And especially his earlier stuff, which feel like a blueprint to him rapping, to him singing rather about his crimes. I was like, oh.
There's some truth to that.
I really can't. So it's
sorry,
difficult.
though.
I know.
I'm still bumping it in the crib. I ain't
his
giving him
own.
no money, though.
No more new money.
No more
That's
money.
right. That's the more important part.